So this is your bonus resource, and I am so excited about this one because I just absolutely love this resource. I'm especially excited that I'm giving it to you in November so you can start using it now, because this is a countdown to winter break, 20 days out if you want to use it that way. And so depending on when you get out of school, you can, prep it and start to use it soon. So the reason I created this was because I wanted to have this interactive calendar, kind of like an advent calendar, where kids are counting down, looking forward to something. So you can use it a couple different ways. The way I originally created it and intended it to be used is you would have it in your office, and then you could do this, with a kid. Maybe you're doing like a daily check-in with someone. Each day they come in and do one. But the way I originally intended it was for those kids who drop in, right? You have those frequent flyers. They come in, you talk and do a little check-in for a second. But sometimes you're just looking for a quick activity to do with them. So these are seasonal, which make it a little more fun. And it's a cool, engaging way that they can choose their activity. So depending on how many days left you have of school, let's say you have 10 days left, so they would go in and then undo the number 10 flap, and whatever activity it says to do, that's the one that they get to do. Now, you can always, I know every school has different schedules, so you can start the countdown to fit your needs. You can skip days, you can double activities on some days, or you can just have the kids come in and pick a random activity. You can just say, hey, pick a flap, and that's the activity you're going to do. So you can use it any way that you like. So you're going to get a template for this calendar to make the little foldable flaps, and that will indicate which one they're going to do. Then each one has a different activity. So for example, we have a snowman cool down board game for anger management. There's some emotional recognition, matching games, and these are all intended to be really short, quick activities, right? Kind of like those check-in students. You could even do this at the beginning of your groups as like a supplemental activity, or the beginning of your individual sessions. Build a coping strategies gingerbread house. This one's cool. They look at the key to determine which coping strategy symbols they want to use. So for example, if they want to use get a drink of water and take deep breaths, they would get the Christmas tree and the peppermint and cut those out and put them on their house. So the cool thing is everyone's house will look different, and then you can talk about it. Then there's a simple maze to talk about self-control strategies with a little interactive worksheet. Then I love this one, build a snowman with I statements. So they're going to practice using an I statement, and I have the answer key for you there. And so they can build a snowman to form those sentences. There's a dice game, so you could play with them if this is an individual, or you could use this in a small group. So these are friendship and conflict resolution questions. And you could even choose these activities if you don't want to use the calendar portion. You could just choose certain holiday ones to use with your different groups. So for example, if you have a friendship group, you could use that dice game. Then there is some deep breathing, so some tracing, mindful breathing exercises, and a compliments, so like a kindness candy cane compliments activity. Gratitude hot chocolate. I love this one. So they're going to cut out the marshmallows and add them to their hot chocolate. So if any of those, the pre-written ones that I have apply to them, they can add those, and they can write new ones. So again, every student's will look different, which is a kind of a cool way to talk about things that they're grateful for. The growth mindset gingerbread man. So this is a sort and paste. Again, you have an answer key, but let the kids, decide which statements indicate a growth mindset and which ones indicate a fixed mindset. Then there's a fill in the blank, almost like a Mad Lib snowflake self-esteem worksheet. And then this one's cool. It's a snowball stress. So you want to talk about how stress can be like a snowball, and as it piles up, it can make you feel upset and it gets bigger and bigger. So you want to help them melt the stress away, so they can circle 3 coping strategies down there and talk about that analogy. And this one's really cool too. It's a coloring sheet with self-regulation. So as they go through, they're going to learn which zones represent each feelings as they color in. So for example, number 2 says calm, and that they would look at their key and see that calm is green, and they would color the top of that Christmas tree green. Piper the Penguin story is really cool as well. It's a social story. So you're going to read this, and then the kids are going to discuss. Then I have an empathy game where the kids are going to look at the snowman and see, based on their emotions, why you think they're feeling that way. So you can really dig deeper with this one, talk about, have you ever felt that way? Has that ever happened to you? Like I said, you can use these as a simple icebreaker with an existing curriculum, or you can make it the activity that you're using for that day with an individual student. Then there's a sorting activity. So this one is talking about kindness. So are these sweet or kind cupcake comments or not? Then there's a guided meditation, hot cocoa. So it's talking about like feeling the warmth, really getting them to visualize. So that one's really fun. You could even do this at the beginning of a class lesson this month. Then social filter snowflakes. So you want students to decide if these are socially appropriate to say or if they should just think it but not say it. And that one's a sort as well. Then there's a bullying prevention scenario. It's just kind of winter themed about making fun of someone's snowman sweater. And you're going to discuss the bully, the target, the bystander, and really get them to empathize and take the perspective of each of these students involved. And finally, social skills gingerbread houses. So you want them to learn these simple social skills. How can you start a conversation? How can you tell how others are feeling? What should you do when you lose a game? So this one would be great to use with a student who you're working on social skills with. All right, guys, I hope you love this winter countdown activity as much as I do. Like I said, you can just pull and choose what you need with your kiddos to have holiday-themed things to use all month long, or you can use the actual calendar, like an advent calendar, and help the students count down. So it kind of builds some anticipation around the break, and they get fun, fresh SEL activities that they wouldn't normally have. Okay, guys, I hope you love this one.